Dana and Sunny set new boundaries. Tane's delayed release comes at a painful cost. Eden finds Remi's aphasia book. And Brax and Ricky make a decision on their future, but only after a few words of wisdom from good old Mr. Stewart.
Hold me in your arms, don't let me go. I want to stay forever, closer each day, home and away.
Let's try this from a different angle. What do you reckon your definition of home is?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't have one. Back then, it was all surf, mates, and beer.
Now that you're a dad?
Yeah, that shifts things a bit. But I don't know. What's your definition?
It's easy for me. Summer Bay's home. Best little joint in the world, if you ask me. That's why I've lived here all my life.
Simple as that, eh?
Well, I haven't lived the life you've lived. But I reckon you're blessed if you've lived in the Bay for 10 minutes, let alone 80 years.
I'm getting the impression you think it's worth staying.
I might be a bit biased.
You reckon?
I've raised a family here. I found my community. The joint brings me peace.
You know, I think the only time I've known peace is when I held my son in my arms. But maybe that's it, you know, maybe home is the place where your family feels safe.
You and I have had our differences over the years, but the one thing I've never, ever questioned is your loyalty to your family. You'll know the right thing to do.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
I've forgotten what I was going to say that was going to be funny. How are you?
Oh, okay. Hello. I'm good, thank you.
Hey, how are you?
G'day. I'm good. Are you?
Woo-doo.
Are we doing that again?
It's going to be one of those weeks. Sorry.
It's all right. Don't
Uh-uh.
mind. Don't mind.
Uh.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, I think so. We've survived another week.
We have. We're here. Still
Yes.
ticking.
Bank holiday weekend. Woohoo!
Whip, whip. And in the UK, we're also warm.
It's
Absolutely
Scorchio.
Baltic here in Yabba Creek Studios. I've had to close the window, sweating like a pig.
Oh, dear. Yep.
It's like 25 degrees. It's been about 26, 27 here. What about your way?
Apparently so. It said that on the Met Office website, but I wasn't sure. I did go out. I've been at work today, and I did venture outside for about 5 minutes on my lunch break, and I went, "Oh, it's too hot." I went back inside.
I love it how we think mid-20s is too hot because we're just not used to it.
It is for me. I am not built for weather. I'm not built for extreme weather. I'm built for 21 degrees, and that's about it. I can do that.
And it's landed on it never coincides with bank holiday, so I suspect a British summer overload this week.
Really?
So you're gonna get your bingo card out. Shirtless man, barbecue, paddling pool.
It's the shirtless
all gonna
men
be happening
in the supermarket. Like, why?
Yeah. Get buying burgers.
Yeah, and it's like, put your bloody shirt on. You're in the supermarket. It's cold in here. Like,
everyone's going to be like on summer speed because they think this weekend's going to be it, and it's bank holiday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, I'm battening down the hatches and not going out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Peg some washing out. Treat yourself.
Yes. Well, I've got a pack of cornettos in the fridge. I've got some ciders in the fridge.
Nice,
freezer.
yeah, because if you go in Tesco tomorrow, there'll not be a Solero in sight.
Exactly. I preempted this. I've got cornettos in the freezer. I've got cider in the fridge.
Yeah.
I don't have to leave the house, to be fair. Yeah.
Have you filled the ice on the fridge? Have you got one of those? I've got one of those fridges, that's like ice and water.
I do. I'm very much more analog than that. I have
are you?
I have a very old fridge, and it's the ice is in the freezer compartment, and you have to scrape it off the walls.
Hey, it's not often I've got something better than you. I'm going to take that. I've got a dispenser.
Wow, no, I have not got that. I wish. I wouldn't even be able to fit one of them in my kitchen. My kitchen's titchy.
Just to let the listeners in onto our fascinating friendship. Do you remember comparing washing machines? I remember on WhatsApp going, your washing machine's swanky, when you had a power cut.
Oh, yes. It's because it was my mum's.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
She had a whole new kitchen and she had an integrated one, and I was like, I will take your old one. Thank you very much. All of my nice things are like from hand-me-downs.
Your old one's like absolutely shat all over mine. I was like, my washing machine's proper shit compared to that. Well, I can't even tell the time. I've got no screen on mine. It's a turny, clinky, clunky.
Yeah, mine was like that before I nicked this one off my mother. But yeah, you definitely win the fridge competition.
I'm going to take that. 1-1, 1-all.
Do you know what? I remember saying to my mum years ago, like I probably was in my 20s, and I said, I've made it one day when I've got a Smeg fridge. I always wanted one of those retro fridges. Yeah. You know, and I can't freaking afford. They're so expensive.
They're daft, aren't they? Yeah,
so expensive. Yeah. I can't even afford a Smeg kettle. Never mind a Smeg fridge. Hello, those kettles are like £100. Who needs a £100 kettle? I don't get it. Insanity. But when I win the lottery, I'm having one.
I just went to Littlewoods and was like, I'll have that kitchen, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the credit card.
Yeah. Honestly, the stuff in my kitchen, some of the stuff in my kitchen is so old that the places I bought the stuff from they're not even there anymore. You know?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
I know how that feels.
When I win the lottery, though, I'm having a Smeg fridge.
Having a Smeg fridge. No need for a new washer, though. That's swanky.
That is, to be touch wood, it is a good washing machine. Yeah.
How was home and away this week?
We're so cool.
For you.
It was good. Enjoyed it again. Obviously, more Brax. So, you know, extra Brax that I wasn't expecting to have as well. You know, bonus Brax, because I thought it was all going to be WA Brax. But Brax in the Bay has trumped WA Brax by a mile.
And down the river.
Oh, yeah, down the Mongrove River, as the sign says. Yes.
-2.
Yes. Oh, awesome. I've loved it. It's been some really good stuff this week. Some stuff I haven't loved as much. I'm sure we will talk about it later. But overall, I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
how about you?
Yeah, nice. It continues on. Yes. Yeah. And more news stories out and about how it's rating high still. The show is on, like, performance-wise, is firing on all cylinders. Nobody can lap it up, and you've got to think as well, these stories are coming out now, which is like we're like 18 episodes behind, which sounds incredibly close.
We were texting about that earlier in the week, weren't we?
So the fact that it's top of the ratings in Australia consistently tells me that we're not going to head into a bit of a drab, even though Brax has gone.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm just loving that there's a lot of positivity about home and away this year. And do you remember, I just keep patting myself on the back, because remember last year I was like, I think we're going to go into a bit of a bold year next year. You know, I feel like the show's taking big decisions, and look, we're halfway through nearly, and look what's happening.
Yes, definitely. And I think the writing again has been really good lately. It's been funny. It's been a little bit, you know, daring with some of the content. It's been harking back to stuff. It's been remembering the past. There's a lot of heartstrings being pulled, a lot of nostalgia in the script at the moment, which has been great. Everyone's lapping it up all over the social media. So
there's a lot to engage with. I agree. Come home to the bay, as they say. And we have the shows on cloud, you know, up there, and we've also been enjoying, like, the fruits of that as well. It's got to be said, you know, we're getting a lot of conversation, we're getting a lot of engagement, we're getting a lot of listeners, and you know, it is all cyclical, isn't it? And people want to talk about it, and this, I guess, we're the place to go. I guess.
Mm.
But there's something that I forgot to mention a couple of weeks ago that, just being the humble self that I am, is that for the first time, I mean, we've come pretty close to this in the history, but for the first time ever, we became a chart-topping podcast.
What?
Sophie, and we forgot to mention it, didn't we?
Oh yeah,
in New Zealand.
I remember you telling me.
For an absolute snippet of time, we were number one TV review podcast in New Zealand.
That's crazy.
Which is nuts. So thank you. It's not all based on listeners. They do some weird algorithm. Who knows how they make it, but it's really good exposure for us. It shows that people are engaging with us. And New Zealand are, again, I think they're a couple of weeks behind Oz. I think they've got a bit of a buffer.
Okay.
But they, so they're sort of midway between us and Australia, pace-wise. So I guess listening to us a couple of weeks behind isn't too dreadful, is it?
No, because they can just listen to our pod from 2 weeks ago, can't they?
Yeah, which isn't too bad, to be fair.
Yeah.
And we're creeping up on you. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you again for all your continued support, because the show's experiencing it, and so are we. Let's face it.
Yeah.
You know. Right. Should we talk about this week's home and away?
Go on then.
Right, so Dana and Sonny are super busy with physio this week. Super busy, so Harper's kind of getting in the way a bit, I must say. Dana does do her best to get rid of her. Good on her, very big efforts. Now, I want to talk to you about this. I'm feeling super attachment. Dare I even say smothering of Sonny here.
Yes.
And it's gone less horny, more I can't live without you, I don't want to lose you, you're very precious, can't have any waking minute without you type. And I was like, Dana, dial it back a bit, girl. And I don't know how you felt. I definitely was like, this needs to stop. Sonny definitely felt that as well. Comes up with this big plan about Remi helping him instead. She sees right through it, of course. And he's trying to tell her she's free. Go and do what you need to do. It's not all about me. You've got a life as well. Ultimately, thank God this doesn't rumble on, because I was thinking, I can't do this.
No.
Ultimately, they do end up in a good middle ground where she is then able to go and do a shift at work. And she even blows off her nephew, which looks like a grown man in that pram these days, to do an air quote physio. Did we expect this of Dana, do you think?
I didn't expect her to be so clingy this week, I'll be honest. I couldn't work out whether she was clingy or horny. I just couldn't work it out. Whether she was like, okay, everything's working, so let's take advantage of that, and, I don't know. Or whether it was, I just can't be away from you, because was it like more, was it clinginess? Was it controlling? Was it like, I don't know. I still don't really understand what the motivation was behind the smothering, as you put it. I'm not sure. It's a bit weird.
It was, and I felt like we didn't need it.
No.
I felt like, oh God, we're putting another obstacle in the way of Sonny and her sort of getting back to some normality. Harper ended up feeling like a spare part when she needed a sister.
Yeah.
And I when you consider how on Tane's side Dana was, she's been quite absent from Tane's whole debacle.
That's true. Yeah.
I thought she'd have had more to say about it.
To be honest, if she had, I think I would have got annoyed, because I think Tane's got enough women running around after him this week. Well, there we go.
I do agree. But she has got a sister and a nephew who is wholly affected by the whole thing.
Yeah, true.
And I mean, fair play to her. She got her rocks off, and it was hard bloody going getting there, weren't it? But
yeah, and it sounds like it was hard work doing it as well.
Yeah, but like, is it? Maybe it's just me in my old age. I was thinking, you've done it now. Go and see your sister.
Yeah, is it one of those things where, you know, when you have like a scoop of ice cream and you can't stop at one scoop, you need two,
Mm,
and then you've had two, and then you want a third one? Is it like is it like that? I don't know.
maybe Anna Flake to finish it off.
Because it might have been
Mm,
you might have been on a diet, you know, and not had ice cream for a while. So
mm,
I don't
mm,
know. Was it that?
mm. But what then happened was they sort of agreed that Remi spoke to him. She
Mm.
went on a walk with Eden. They all agreed that it was all a bit daft. And then when they agreed that Dana was going to do her own thing a bit more, and Remi was going to look after him a bit, they then go, right, let's spend some time together and go out for dinner together. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit all over the place, wasn't it?
What was the point?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a zigzag timeline this week.
I think I understand Sunny's point of view though. I think he was feeling a bit smothered. Like she was there, you know, they don't live together and he's living under a roof with a lot of other people and it's not a big house, let's face it, to have all those people.
Yeah.
You know, Eden, Cash, Sunny, Dana and Remi in the 2-bedroom house with one, you know, living room, kitchen, open plan thing. It's a lot of people and it's Sonny hasn't had. I don't know whether he's one of those people that just after he's been around someone for a while, he just needs a bit of me time to decompress, or just wants to go for a poo, you know, and doesn't want his girlfriends talking to him through the door while he's doing it. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the guy. Yeah, the guy wants. He's realised he's got his nether regions back. The guy wants to have a play on his own.
Do you think that's what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just okay.
Yeah.
Well, that works with her, but what can I do myself? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Yeah.
Now, elsewhere, Harper's telling Maz and Leah about the developments in Tane's case in the Bay. And even Mac is dancing around the lounge at him and getting released. You know, everyone's happy, aren't they? Happy as Larry that he's getting released. This new evidence has come to light. You know, this bloody video footage that we can talk about till we're blue in the face. Why no, everyone missed it, but it was discovered at the end of last week, and everyone's happy that Tane is going to be out. He's going to be a free man. Least of all, Mac. And it's actually making a now be nice to Levi. And I am wondering whether Levi really ought to be asking a few more questions here. I really do. Because I am watching this. You said it yourself on here a few times. She's a better boyfriend to Tane. Girlfriend to Tane. Than she is to him, and the amount of effort, considering she's expecting Levi's baby as well, and what they've gone through to get here in terms of expecting baby, she's being pretty reckless in terms of her. I don't know. I guess I would expect more awareness of her state, her stress, her. You know. Am I just being a bit cliche here?
No, I mean, I'm going to put it bluntly and say that Mac has really wound me up this week. And I'm actually getting to the point now where I'm like, this character needs to go because she's getting on my wick. And I don't really like any of the future storylines that could possibly happen with her either. And it's
this is the end of the road.
I don't know. I don't think it is, but she has wound me up because she's just. I mean, it's the same thing I've been saying for a couple of weeks. She's walking around the bay like she's connected, like she's Mafia Mac, like she knows everything. She's bending over backwards for Tane, who's not her boyfriend. She was absolutely obnoxious and unbearable when she was trying to get pregnant and couldn't get pregnant, and she was crying all the time and like, why can't I have a baby? Like, she almost got to the point where her and Levi split up. Like, she ran off to Dean's. It almost got to the point where they weren't going to be a couple anymore because she couldn't have a baby with him, and that's, you know, apparently all she cared about and all she wanted, and blah blah blah. She's had this miracle pregnancy. She hasn't got pregnant by IVF. She's managed to get pregnant naturally, yes, we've managed to get to the point where we've got the scan, and we're managing to tell people that we're pregnant, and we were keeping it quiet this time just in case, and blah, blah, blah. But she's just doesn't seem to be acting to me like someone who has finally got the one thing in her life that she's always wanted, apparently, even though I don't really believe that. But anyway, she's finally got the baby. She's finally got the pregnancy. She's not taking it seriously. She's not taking her health seriously. She's had a miscarriage already. She knows what that's like. And yet, like you say, she's stressing herself out. She's running up to the hospital. She's running here and there and everywhere. She's getting stressed with the people. She's taking it out on Cash and David and everyone else. And I'm like, I'm almost sort of thinking, who are you going to blame, Mac? Who are you going to put the blame on when you have a miscarriage because you've stressed yourself out so much because you're not supposed to be taking on all of this drama? And let's be honest, Tane doesn't need her to do all this.
No.
He doesn't need it. He's got Harper. He's got Joe. He's got Cash. He doesn't need Mac. She could take a step back. We don't need her to be this involved.
Yeah. That's what makes it even worse, is that it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. And I'm a little annoyed that Levi isn't checking her on it as much.
Well, he tried to, but she bit his head off. She was like, oh, well, I was waiting to see when you'd bring up that. When he said something like, shouldn't you go home because, like, you're pregnant. Remember, you're pregnant and, like, you've lost a baby before and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. And in Levi's shoes, I'd be saying to her, why has this man got a hold on you?
Yeah. Yeah. And why are you willing to risk it all for him? Like, she was absolutely evil when she was going through those trigger injections and all of that. She went through hell trying to get pregnant. She's finally pregnant, and now she's just like all about Tane.
And when you consider what has happened for them two to get together as well, like Levi gave up his entire life.
Yeah.
That gorgeous house.
He wasn't even sure he wanted kids. Do you remember?
No, he wasn't sure he wanted kids. He had a wife her life's been ruined as a result of it. And then she gets here and she's absolutely obsessed with this friend that we all know is the one that got away. And I think that's what's grating on me a little bit, is that actually the pig that Levi is at the beginning for doing all this, like he's the writing's done a number on us, let's face it. And what he gave up and sacrificed and caused on was it Imogen?
Imogen, yeah.
What everything that he gave up there and hurt her to be here, and I'm a bit like, she has got this connection with another man. It might not be romantic, but she's capable of this kind of deep level. It's like way extreme for me, this connection, and me and you are very, very good friends, but would I be doing the things that Mac is doing if you were inside? No, I'd be coming to you and bringing you a dairy milk.
Which I would appreciate, to be fair. I don't want you to send me to WA, thank you very much.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be getting the boss on you.
No.
And risking everything, especially if I was pregnant.
No. And also, like, I'm kind of, I don't know whether you're the same, but I'm almost cringing when she says, oh, he's my best friend, because I'm like, since when?
Well, this is another thing. We haven't bought into the friendship, have we?
No.
We know they know each other very well. They've been on the show for like 8 years. I mean, we talk about this 3-year cycle. These guys are long stays. We can't deny that now. We know they've got a lot of history, but are they really busy mates? When you look at other friendships on the show, Rue and Maz, for all the troubles, at least you could actually call that a deep friendship.
Yeah. Yeah. I just find it really cringy. There was that scene.
Remi and Eden is another one.
Yeah, they're a really good friendship, and Sunny and Remi. I found it really cringe. When she was having that miscommunication with Brax last week, when she was like, oh, I think you're here for me, because like he had Riverboy tattoos and all that stuff. And she was like trying to fill him in. And then Brax said to her, like, what's it got to do with you? Like, what are you to Tane? And she went, he's my best friend. And I just wet myself laughing because I was like, I don't believe you. And it doesn't feel believable. There's something else going on. And like the fact that she drops everything, and obviously the minute they found out what happened this week, she's on the phone to Levi. I'm coming to the hospital. Like, you don't need to.
I know. You cannot help but wonder if, given if he looked that way at her, whether she would just do it. You can't help but wonder, and it's that sort of itch, isn't it, that you really don't want to scratch. But it's the big elephant in the room.
Though. I just don't buy that they're that close that she would say that he's my best friend. I'm like, what do they do? Like, she hands him a pizza over the counter at Salt every 2 weeks. Is that best friend material? I don't get it. Like, they don't hang out, they don't do stuff.
When you think as well, like, Joey's the partner. I mean, obviously she told him to do 012121. And now she's regretted it. But like she's actually his partner. They're supposed to be madly in love. None of us are buying it. Blah 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 blah. But like, it's Mac that's spearheading the whole sort of anti-prison thing. Joe sort of looks a bit sidelined by it, and that just makes it even more obvious.
It does, yeah. Because if your own girlfriend is doing less than Mac, you know what I mean?
I mean, she went to WA, but I mean, I think Mac would have been there if she could.
Yeah, I think she would have run away with him if she wasn't pregnant and wasn't with Levi. She'd have been, let's go on the run.
I'm really torn here with her because she's one of my favourites. I think Emily does a fantastic job. I'm just wondering what on earth is going on with this Tane crap.
I don't know. And honestly, it's getting to the point now where I'm like, I'm trying to think about Mac in the next year or so. You know, what's going to happen to this character?
Thinking ahead.
There's loads of potentials with the baby. Obviously, she could stress herself out so much now because he's going into organ failure, whatever we'll talk about. So she could stress herself out so much that she does compromise her and her baby's health, and that could be the way out of this storyline. I don't know. Or we get to the point where she has got a baby, and then what happens to her? Like, what is Mac with a baby? You know, I'm struggling to see her character as a mum, you know.
Yeah, same. She's power woman.
Yeah.
You know,
and Levi runs the ED, so he's going to be on call constantly. She's going to be at home with the baby. She's not going to be happy with that. Because she's not. I mean, look at what she's doing right now. She has to be in the middle of all the drama. Like, anything that happens, Mac has to be in the middle of it. She has to be involved. She's not going to want her feet up at home with the baby while everyone else is at work and doing life.
Yeah.
I just can't picture it. So it's almost getting to the point now where I'm just like, what else can we do with her? We've painted her into this corner. She's become so unbearable during this storyline that I don't even like seeing her on screen anymore. Is it going to get to the point where we're glad that she's going? You know, we're glad that they've had the baby and then they've decided to move near Levi's parents or whatever. I don't know. Are we being geared up?
I hope not. I hope not, because she is a favourite character of mine, and I think I'm holding out hope that this can be undone.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. I know what you mean, though, that like, because of the way everything's been lately, and it's all been a bit nuts, got to admit, that like thinking about what the future looks like is quite a task at the moment. I do hear you, and I think I'll sit on that for a week.
I don't think it's going to be soon.
But am I being naive? I don't know.
Or am I just not seeing something? You know, because I'm so frustrated with her right now. I don't like the Mafia Mac. We know when she walked into the lift at the hospital, because Levi had managed to talk around and say, "You're not needed here. He's in surgery or whatever. Like, you're not helping," basically, was what he was saying. And all you're doing is stressing yourself out, which is not good for you. You're in your first trimester of pregnancy. You need to put yourself first. You need to put the baby first and go home. And she got into the lift, And she was all the way to the lift. She was just like, you shouldn't have been in prison in the first place. And this wouldn't have happened. Blah, blah, blah. And it's all that shoulda, woulda, coulda stuff that really annoys me. And then she got in the lift and she leant against the wall, and her face, I had to look away because I was like, you're doing my bloody head in.
Sure, but Emily plays it so well.
She does.
But I know what you mean. It's infuriating beyond belief.
She's so obnoxious with it. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
I did scream. I literally screamed at the TV. I was like, oh, rock off.
I actually texted you because I watched the episode before you, and
I
was like, I actually used the F word. And listeners will know I never use that.
Of course.
But for me, what finished me off, we'll have to talk about my storyline because we're referring to it now, so I'll summarise it in a moment. But it's when she went to ICPD.
Oh yeah,
because that's where she gets in the lift, doesn't she? She must get in the car, go straight to Yabby Creek, and she goes to YCPD and just lets rip.
Yeah.
And of course, it's home and away, so it's life and death in it. If he dies, it's on you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, if he hadn't gone to WA, he wouldn't be in prison right now. If you know what I mean, he wouldn't have been shivved or tasered or whatever. It's all the shoulda, woulda, coulda. She can't ever look at herself. She can never look. She's never been introspective or self-aware and gone, maybe some of the stuff I did led to this situation.
Yeah. I told him to run. Yeah. Whereas now, if he'd have stayed and faced it, and this all, I mean, I suppose you could argue Brax wouldn't have been there, and then nobody else would have thought about this camera. So therefore, he would have been inside forevermore.
Who knows? But you don't know. And maybe she made it worse. Maybe she escalated the problem because I don't know. I just feel like there's so many. It's a sliding doors thing, isn't it? There's so many variables with this storyline. You don't know what would have happened if things have been done differently. But she's so sure that it's so and so's fault, and she's so sure that everyone else is wrong and everyone else is to blame, and she's blameless. And that whole thing with Cash, where she's just like, "Well, I'm a good friend to Tane. I can't say the same for you." And I'm like, he put 40K down that he's now lost because of you. Nobody's mentioning this.
I think he should be invoicing her, actually.
I'd be absolutely fuming because let's face it, that 40K has either come from his trust fund because his parents died, or his trust fund from Felicity's death. Because she left him the half a salt, didn't she?
Yeah. And he sold it.
He sold it. So this money that he's put down for Tane's
it's his savings.
And it's come from him losing his entire family. And now he's lost the money as well. Anyway.
Well, let's talk about it. So, long story short, the footage is legit. It's not AI. Sarge has had it confirmed. Kerry did plant drugs. So, this is what we're talking about, isn't it? And Tane can be released, but it's going to be the next day. Joe's eager as a beaver this week, isn't she, to get him home? Because you'll remember, she's told him, can't do this, we're over. 24 hours before he's getting out. Fucking idiot.
He wasn't even sentenced, and she bailed on him.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't come here once a week on a picnic bench and get searched. Well... I'm sorry, I'm just going to leave this train on your face. She's ridiculous. The guy saved her life 6 weeks ago.
And you know what? Her sister, who's just killed her stalker, is back at work. She's walking around like it didn't fucking happen.
Yeah, 9 to 5, doll.
And yet Joe can't handle sitting on a picnic bench.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, once a week.
What the hell?
Yeah.
At least wait until he's had his court date and you know what sentence he's got. You don't even know how long he's in prison for, and you've dropped him like. Oh.
Doesn't she feel like a prat now? Because he's getting out, and she could have just got away with those feelings and not have to. You know what I mean?
What an idiot!
Absolute plonker. So. He's getting out, but there's a bit of a delay, isn't there? Because, the cogs of justice doth turn very slowly, Sophie. And there's a 24-hour delay. And, of course, Cash has been telling every man and his dog that he's getting out, including Tane himself. So everyone's getting hyped for this.
I was mad at Cash. I was mad at Cash.
Well, it's typical YCPD, isn't it?
I was
Again,
mad. David told him not to.
Another week where David's not really very YCPD. He needs to get in line and get badder. Do you know what I mean? He needs to get worse at his job. He's way too protocol and way too good.
Only when it suits him.
He doesn't exactly. He doesn't really know what he's doing, does he?
No.
So Cash has then got to go down to the cinema. Prison. Where did cinema come from?
Are you back in Cineworld, Hollywood Bowl with Jafar?
Yeah, I think I am. One game, not two, Jafar.
You've got PTSD, Joel. I'm diagnosing you now. Yeah.
Down the prison, not the cinema, the prison.
It's because it looks like West Side Story or something in that prison yard. It's hilarious.
Oh, God. Simon's got to stay another night. Now, during this night, this is very crucial to the plot, because during this night, there's a riot with that. It's all very Prison Break, isn't it? And there's a taser, there's a fight, there's a screw getting cornered. Tane then decides he can take on all 8 men. I'm very disappointed because I wanted a Tane high kick.
Oh.
I wanted a martial arts.
Yeah.
We never got it. What?
No, we didn't. He just walked up to them and then got tased in the neck, didn't he? Yeah.
Tased, battered, bruised. Kidneys could be failing. Brain's definitely gone. And he's in a really bad way. He's been beaten up in prison during this fight when he could have been out. Obviously, he's getting lots of sympathy here at Coastal News. So he ends up in hospital, doesn't he? And then this is when the Mac's running there and taking over, and you did this, you did that. And Joe really is like, absolutely frantic. She's being there, and she's like, oh my God. She's like in his face, and she's like, his obs are dropping, let me intervene. And Levi's like, get out of the way, stop going on the computer and looking at his results. It's all a bit much when she literally said to him, we're done. I can't do this. 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
So, did you see this last twist in the Tane story coming? Is this been a bit of a shock to you?
I didn't expect it to go this far. I did think, because this Knox guy last week, obviously he had a name, he had lines. We were told, stay away from him, he's a bad, bad, bad man. That all kind of pricked my soap fan ears, because I was like, oh, we're being told this for a reason. He's got a name, he's got lines, he's a bad man, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, I think this week when Cash was talking to Tane and he was like, I'm coming back for you tomorrow. And the guard that Tane's kind of pally with was like, keep this to yourself, because if your roommates or your cellmates find out that you're walking soon, that could cause you a problem, because they're all going to get jealous and,
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking something's going to happen, but I wasn't expecting makeshift taser. And I also wasn't expecting how it went down.
From the mechanics bay.
Yeah, I knew this Knox guy had got an eye on Tane, because this guy is clearly in prison for I think he's a lifer, isn't he? He looks like a lifer. He looks like he's in there for probably murder or whatever. He doesn't look like he's the kind of guy who's ever going to get let out of prison. He's in there for life. He's bored. He's looking for some trouble, and he'd already been in solitary, hadn't he? Yeah.
So we know he's trouble.
He was riled up and coming back from solitary. So I knew that he was a problem. I knew that he got his eyes on Tane, and Tane's trying to keep his head down, and that's kind of like a red flag to that kind of guy. They go for the ones that are trying to keep themselves to themselves, because they want the drama, don't they? So I knew something was going to happen, but I did not expect the way it went down. I did not expect Tane to jump in and save a screw, as they say, and risk it all, knowing that he was coming out the next day or the next couple of days. He could have walked away. But then that's not Tane. He is the guy that would jump in a fight to help someone else. He is the guy that would put his life on the line for he's a bit thick.
Yeah, do you reckon? Even though he knows he's getting out tomorrow, would he not have just thought, I'll sit this one out?
I do think that he's a little bit dumb. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you don't apologise to me.
I think he's a little bit dumb, and I think he almost thinks because he owns a gym, and because he's got muscles for days. He does think that he can outfight 9 prisoners. You know, he's got this odd confidence. I do think he's stupid enough to go into a gunfight with a knife. You know.
Yeah. No. I take what you're saying, and I agree. I do agree.
Yeah. Didn't expect it, but I'm not surprised. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good way to summarise it, because I was thinking no one in their right mind would get involved in that. They're outnumbered. However, what you're saying is he's not in his right mind, and that's probably true.
We've had very interesting storylines this week with the Brax and Tane thing, because obviously they've crossed paths because they've both been innocent of a crime they've been, sent to prison for. They've both ran away from their ultimate judgment. Brax went on the run after escaping prison. Tane went on the run before going to prison, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these storylines are sort of interwebbed, aren't they? And then also we've had Tane's tackled a group of people trying to be the good guy, the knight in shining armor, because the screw was going to get tasered if he hadn't. And this week we've also had the Brax storyline at Mangrove River, where he's tackled a group of people outnumbered again. So it's the contrast between the two has been interesting, hasn't it? I think.
You're right.
I think it's spelling it out to us. In kind of, we knew this already. We've talked about this on the podcast, and we've talked about this privately. Is that Tane is the new Brax? He is the new golden boy of the show.
Yeah,
and I think the similarities have been poked out this week as well.
Yeah, the parallels has been stark, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And he might not be a gang member, but their experience of life has been very, very similar.
Yes.
And where they've ended up, we'll see, because
very different personalities, and I think Tane's personality is not, for me, is not up there with Brax at the moment. I'm not as keen on him as a character, but I think they're trying to tell us he's the new Brax is back for a short while, but look at the similarities between these two characters. Brax is leaving, but we've still got Tane, and Tane's got elements of Brax in him, elements of that kind of river boy stuff. I've got your back, and I'll do stupid things, but I'll do it for a good reason. I think they've tried to paint it as obviously as they can for us this week.
Yeah. No, you're right. It has been like paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Very, very obvious. But I don't mind that, because I think what that does is help explain to a newer audience as well the kind of guy that Brax is.
Yes.
And I do think it helps us older audiences as well, if you'll pardon the old
the insult. Thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. But longer term viewers, let's say,
old school.
It grounds us, in that, and for me, it's reminded me of Tane's arc a lot. This, sometimes you can get sort of bogged down in the day to day, but when you're facing imminent life imprisonment or whatever. I mean, it was 14 years, but they're talking about life and death here. But you do start seeing the big picture a bit, and actually the whole Harper sitch, having the baby, lose the baby, Brax, the baby, right before he went away. You know, there are a lot of sort of parallels, and we've talked about them for weeks now since Brax has been back, that actually this is the modern day version, and their lives are very, very similar. And Tane went there for help, and actually they realised that they had more in common than they probably would like to have admitted.
Yeah.
Brax this week is actually livid because he's having a lot of trouble, isn't he, with the River Boys this week. He's had that run-in with Stelios of EasyJet fame.
Sterlo?
In my notes, he's Stelios.
I love your notes.
And who the hell does he think he is? He says, doesn't he? He doesn't like the way they're doing things, Brax. And so, as well as this Tane stuff going on, Brax has also got this existential stuff about the way the River Boys have gone. And the legacy, and it's his legacy at the end of the day. Like, he's number one, you muppet, day one. You know, like, this is his legacy, and just because he's been away, and now he's been to the magistrates and he's free, and we're all sitting wondering, well, is he going to be able to correct what's gone on? And we can start peeling away the layers here, and I have a theory about all this stuff, right?
Okay.
And this stuff is completely deliberate. Because what has happened in recent times, when we've had these iterations of River Boys come and go, it's weird, isn't it? Because the argument, there's always two arguments to the Braxtons and the River Boys, and it's thugs ruin the show, blah blah blah, violence, gangs, blah. Or there's the other side that's like lovable rogues, do bad stuff, can't help but love them. And they were, like it or lump it, accepted and part of the community, and they had this brotherhood, this loyalty, this look after the locals, which Brax touches on when he goes down to Mangrove River to have it out with Stelios. Now, so there's this whichever side you're on, right? That wasn't really a thing with any of the River Boys that came later. They were just out and out shithouses.
Yes.
Let's face it.
Which is why they've not been as popular with the audience.
Yeah, because there's not that element. There's not that sort of slant to them.
There's no depth. There's no depth. It was just pure crime and thuggery and nastiness and.
Yeah. So my theory is, by Brax coming back and sort of confronting Stelios and being like, look, this is not what we're about. This isn't it. This is not where you come from. You look after your locals, you look after each other, and this isn't what we're supposed to be about. This is sort of trying to patch that up a bit in the writing. Yeah. That's my theory. Could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think if you're not right, you're very close. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's definitely in that vein, because there's been a lot of vocal. I mean, and we have as well. We've been really vocal about the Timu River Boys, as we've been calling them, and we haven't. And to be fair, the script, I don't think we've meant to have liked them. We're not meant to have liked Rory. We're not meant to have liked.
No, you're right.
Gage.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything redeemable about these people. They were just pure horrible. But the reason why we all got our backs up about it was because it was tarnishing the River Boy name. It was tarnishing the memories. It was tarnishing the nostalgia. Because we, love them or hate them, and I know a lot of people do hate them. The people that do love the River Boys of old, we're annoyed because it was like, no, you're taking something that I enjoyed and you're making it something that's. When the people that didn't like the River Boys, it was the newer ones were exactly how they would criticize the Brax era of River Boy.
Yeah.
You know, they're just thugs. They're just awful. They're just crime. They're just blah, 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 blah. And the people that enjoyed the Braxtons saw the depth of them, and it wasn't just the crime. It wasn't, and they weren't bad all the way through. They did bad things for good reasons. They had the brotherhood. They didn't treat women like crap, like Rory did, like Gage did. But because the show started to turn the River Boys into the cliche, the critics started to talk about the Braxtons with, which I don't think was fair. It annoyed us and it riled us up because we were like, no, this is playing into the negative kind of hype around the River Boys that isn't actually it's on the surface it looks like it's true, but actually when you dig down, it's not what the River Boys represented. It's a
they were more
different type.
layered. Yeah, they're more nuanced.
Exactly. So I think the same as you. It's reminding us or spelling it out, I guess, the things that we've been talking about on the podcast for the last couple of years with the Timu River Boys, is that this is a new wave of River Boy. This isn't the River Boys of the past. This isn't you can't compare them to the Braxtons. It's not the same. But there are people that go, yes, it is. This is why I didn't like the Braxtons in the first place, because this is what they're like. They're just thugs. They're just horrible, blah, blah, blah. No, they weren't. And I think Brax coming back and Brax recognising that the boys are not the same, have not got the same principles, have not got the same morals as when he was around, you know, back in the day. And it's spelling it out. I feel better about this because I'm just like, yes, finally. It's what I've been saying for 2 or 3 years on the show, but like, you know, there's not everyone sees it from that point of view.
Yeah, I think this is trying to put some things right.
Yes.
That's my gut feeling. And don't get me wrong, like there was that scene where he's like in a fisty fight with Stelios. And I don't know why I don't know why Ricky then drove her son to see it. No, but No,
I need to get this off my chest. Because I texted you and I texted you and I was like, Ricky's shouting at Brax because Casey saw the fight when she drove him there.
No.
She drove him there, but she, not being funny, she didn't just drive by and just be like, oh, maybe Brax is in Mangrove River. She got there so fast. She borrowed a car. She was in a panic. She knew exactly where he was. She knew exactly what he was doing. She knew what she was walking into. And then she goes, oh, Casey saw the whole thing. Yes, because you took him.
I know.
You stupid cow.
You literally parked the car down.
And you can't pretend you didn't know because you got there lightning fast because you knew. She can't pretend that she didn't know what she was walking into.
She could have just left him with Maz. Everybody else leaves their kids with her.
Exactly. Just leave him in salt with a crayon and a colouring book, you know.
Yeah. And a cappuccino.
Puppuccino.
Yeah, that was stupid. But what that told us was, whatever you think, Brax is still capable. You know, he can slip into the old ways. You know, like it gave us a little bit of something, you know, of the old days. But it was all in the greater good. It was all to sort of restore the greater good. And I think that's the lesson we're supposed to take from this. This was an entire exercise on fixing the River Boy image.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's off. He's got a decision to make then as Brax, hasn't he? You know, is this, and she's in his ear. You know, I don't want my son to see this, and my son's going to be a river boy. You know, I'm thinking.
Well, it was an ultimatum, wasn't it?
Son's going to be in jail.
I'm going back to the farm. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, we're off. Like, if we stay here, it's going to be trouble. I mean, yeah, it is because it's a soap. It's Summer Bay. But and I genuinely bought into Brax being torn about staying. I genuinely did, because this, you know, he's got such roots here. And then there was lots of talk, you know, Casey's asking about you know, the old Casey. How did he die? He died brutally, you know. He didn't die from a car crash. We're learning that he's been given a lot of fibs, you know, as he's been isolated. And he's now asking. He's reached an age. He's asking questions. He's back here, and Brax is really, really toying with stay or go, isn't he? And that's where Mr. Stewart, thank the Lord, comes back from Marimbula and hears the news. Doesn't believe it when he's first told by John, but hears the news, fair dinkum, that Brax is in town and sees him on the beach, doesn't he? And asks him for if he wants to fish with his learner's rod. Obviously, I'm thinking about you this entire time. Tell me about what you thought of these scenes. Your two favourite men.
I know. I mean, this was ultimate home and away for me, because it's the joining of the OG Homers, which is Alf for me, and then the man that changed the soap to the soap that I love now. And brought in these more criminal aspects
old
of
and
it.
new.
Old and new, having a little chat and having I just loved it. And I loved the fact that they were fishing to start with, and then when actually this conversation would be better had over a beer. I was like, yes, this has made my day. I'd had a really bad day at work as well when this was aired, so this was really necessary for my mood. It almost hinged on how well my day was going at this point. So I really enjoyed this. Like I say, it's just bringing those two different worlds of home and away together, and saying these two worlds can coexist. And just hearing Mr. Stewart, the same old cliches that he always comes out with. I've been here for 80 years. I've never moved away. This is my home. I think it's the best place you can be. Best place to raise a family. I mean, I think he's looking through rose-tinted glasses, because the amount of deaths per capita in this small coastal town and the amount of crime and all that stuff is insane. But overall, it's just like, this is meant to be a nice coastal town.
I think the fourth wall was broken in this scene.
It did feel like that.
Yeah. And this was Mr. Stewart. This was Ray saying, best flaming place in the world. You can't beat it. This conversation of what does home mean to you?
Really
and
interesting.
to Mr. Stewart, it was home is this town. This is all the world I need. And I think that as the audience just brought us right back to earth from all the crap and all the nonsense that we've just watched all week, and it just made us realize how much history there is and nostalgia. And also this conversation is important because it makes Brax decide that he doesn't need to be there to feel home. He is, just needs to be where his family's safe, and that makes him make the decision that he needs to leave with his family back to WA. I actually think there was part of that conversation where we're talking about Brax fixing the Riverboy image. I think it fixes Mr. Stewart's image as well. Loads of people talk about Ray, being unhappy about the River Boys taking over the show, and the press picked up on this story 15 years ago about him storming upstairs and saying this and kicking off, and whether it's true or not, and all this malarkey. And there was a really, really funny line that I thought was addressing that, if you were to read between the lines, allegedly. And it was like, me and you haven't seen eye to eye all the time, but I cannot doubt your loyalty to your family. And I think that's a soap. Right? That is a soap character through and through. It's all about the family.
It's true. And if you look at the headlines these days, I don't know whether anyone saw this, but there was a headline recently that was all over social media that said that Ray Ma, quote unquote, said can't get him back quick enough, talking about Stephen Peacock. So I don't know whether that's trying to address some of that, like you say, that old media.
That whole thing undoes what was done really back in the day, and the sort of toxicity, I would say, around that period of the show. I think this has been an absolute enormous success at unpicking that and sort of putting things back on track a bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that it goes absolute miles when people who absolutely were divided and, you know, during that period are now saying this has been amazing, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that's testament to this, how much of a success this has been. And I've got to say, and I will hold my hands up, I didn't think it was going to go down this way,
No.
you know.
I was genuinely terrified that it was gonna backfire on us. And I was genuinely terrified that this was gonna ruin my nostalgia myself of Brax and my, because
Yeah.
I loved him. I thought he was a great character. I didn't want him to leave the show back then. I didn't want him to leave the show just now. But, you know, he's left me wanting more, and I think that's a triumph, because he's gone and I've not gone, oh, I'm sick of this, or oh, I'm not liking this, or this didn't work, or it was cringe, or whatever. They've executed this really well. I was really glad to see him. I really enjoyed every scene he was in. I loved the goodbye that we had when all the OGs were there, you know, and Justin.
And when the Irene Drive, as I'm calling it,
yes,
down the bay.
And they were, you know, everyone was there to say goodbye to them, and I was like, yes, this is fitting, and it just feels like a nice way to end that Brax era for me, without tainting it, without making. Yes, I don't fully believe that he's necessarily going to be happy in WA. And there was that conversation in the car when Casey said, oh, I can't wait to go home, and Brax said, I can't wait to go home either. And I was still kind of thinking, I'm still not fully sure what Brax's definition of home is here.
Yeah.
And whether he's still got this longing for home that is more than just a place, it's a feeling. And whether he's got that feeling in WA, I'm not sure.
But I guess that leaves the door open.
Yeah, and he's sacrificed it, because he's gone, my family will be better off in WA. You know, Ricky wants to be there, Casey wants to be there. We'll have, quote unquote, a better life for the family. It's like for the greater good, isn't it? For the greater good.
Yeah.
Home is WA, but I still feel like there was a sort of longing.
He's got a pull, hasn't he?
Yeah. I felt it in that car when he was like, yeah, same, mate. And I was like, yeah, you still haven't worked out where home is. I think for him, home isn't a place, it's a feeling. And I don't think...
And I think that's a clever way to leave him.
Yeah.
Because I think that means that 5 years' time, for example, they could get him in for something.
Yeah.
And he could be like, the marriage broke down. Or, you know, like, and I just felt like this was my calling back.
Yeah.
You know,
it's ambiguous. Some people would have watched that scene and thought he just wants to go back to WA. But I watched it and I felt it was more ambiguous than that. I felt like he was saying, yeah, I can't wait to go home as well, but I don't know where that is yet.
It was particularly deliberate as well that the OGs, the older characters, were the last people to see them and wave them off.
Yes.
I think that was deliberate. That was like you know, this guy's a ledge too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
because I think
it was the meeting of the old and the new homers, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But I would argue that because even Alf mentioned something about his old age. You know, I think whatever you think about Brax, he is in that legendary status.
He is.
Yeah. And I think he is during that era of the show. Not many soaps can make characters like that during that period.
No.
When we think about soap characters on any of the soaps, we all think about the ones that are from the 90s and the 80s and the heydays of soaps. We don't think about characters that were sort of spawned in 2011. Do you know what I mean? Like, but Brax is one of those few that we think about. And love him or lump him, he is, for many people, the face of this show. It was when it was announced he was coming back, it was absolutely a wash online with, oh my God, we need to watch the show again.
Mm-hmm.
Tagging your friend and your cousin in it, saying, oh my God, Brax is back. He is undeniably popular.
Yeah.
For the right or the wrong reasons. Who cares? It puts eyeballs on the show.
Yeah.
So I think this has been, I was dreading it
Mm.
because at the end of the Braxton tenure, I couldn't wait to get rid. Right. And I felt like it was such a fractious period. I was happy to keep that period shut.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were laughing last week about being online at the time. And, you know, I was a bit apprehensive about having arguments on the internet with people that I was having 15, 16 years ago. But this time it's just been an absolute wave of.
Mm.
And I think is a character that people don't like to admit that they are invested in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. I think it's been a triumph. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. As a Brax fan, you know, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, and it definitely exceeded my expectations. It gave me that closure. It like I say, it left me wanting more. I was sad to see him leave, but I'm glad he goes away on a note where I'm like, that was great, and I would like more of that. Because the alternative is, oh God, that was awful, and I'm glad he's gone. And I'm so glad that it's not the latter.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as soap comebacks go, this is how you should do it.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't, you know, how many soaps we constantly compare EastEnders, but like, you know, you bring
it's
people
so
back,
bad, and it wins awards.
I know they bring 15 people back from the 90s and do nothing with them.
They just replicate the same shit that happened years ago, but they don't bring it up to today.
The problems. Yeah.
And this is what this storyline's done. This storyline has gone, he's not the same Brax as he was 10 years ago, because obviously not. Like, there's been 10 years passed since then. And we've addressed all of the stuff. They've given us closure on so much of this storyline. You know, having these conversations with the OGs, having these conversations with Leah about the River Boys now, and Eden about the River Boys now, tackling the River Boy issue and the fact that they've just turned into this thug. You know, they're not family anymore. They're just these nasty boys that don't treat anybody well, and they've got no respect for anybody, not even with each other. You know, he's addressed all of that. He's addressed the kind of fraction between the old and the new Home and Away by meeting Alf and having a beer with him and having all those conversations about home. Like, they've tied up so much of the loose ends. And other soaps are failing at that. They're just going, this person shagged around in the 90s, so let's keep them shagging around in the 2026, even in the geriatric. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, this is how you... Yeah. You're right. This is how you do it. Yeah. And this is how you address it subtly, but also, like, blatantly, without alienating anybody.
Yes.
On either side. And I think a triumph is a word. I think this has been beyond all my expectations.
Yes.
And absolute kudos to everybody involved with this, really, because this has been probably the best decision the show's made.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't say that all of the storyline has been executed exceptionally well, and it's all to do with the Tane stuff. I'll be honest. You know, the running away and going to WA, it was all a bit like plot hole heavy. But having Brax back in the show, can't criticise that at all. The way that they've executed the scenes with him, the way that he's come back to the bay, the way that he's interacted with the people, the way that he's gone about the Riverboy thing and found out about the Riverboy thing, is they could not have made the Summer Bay scenes better for me.
Yeah. Yeah. When Brax got back to the bay, it was like faultless.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
And long live Brax. Who'd have thunk it?
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts, and ensure you never miss an episode.